Education is how people are taught academics, learning skills, and cultural norms. Durkheim and functionalism. According to Durkheim, society is made up of large-scale structures which require balance for society to properly function. Now let's talk about education in functionalism. According to functionalism, education socializes young people, not that high schoolers are that young. Education transmits culture from one generation to another. Education provides academic skills or the learning of academic skills. Education encourages thinking independently and creatively, which is innovation. And believe it or not, according to functionalism, education provides childcare. We did have a recent closed country where everyone was required to stay home and childcare was no longer provided. And I know firsthand as a retired public school teacher, a lot of parents were very frustrated that they were caring for their children on a full-time basis. So yes, education also provides childcare. All right, so Durkheim and functionalism. Let's consider education since that's what this video is about. How does education contribute to the function of government? How does education contribute to the function of religion and economy, family, and media? If education ceases to function, nothing else in our society will be able to function. Everything will become dysfunctional. Now let's look at Marx and conflict theory. According to Marx, society is an arena of conflict because people are always fighting for resources. The people who do not have want more, and the people who have will not share, hence the conflict. Let's look at education through the lens of conflict theory. According to conflict theory, education is a form of social control. Education screens people, which is true. Some schools you can't get into. Public schools have to accept everyone, but charter schools do not, and private schools do not. There is screening involved. Allocation of resources, often depending on where you fit on the proverbial pyramid, will determine where you go to school, where will those allocations, where will those resources, how will those resources be allocated? How will students receive the best resources? And in what situations do students receive very poor resources? This is allocation. Last of all, according to conflict theory, education promotes a credentialized society. A degree is a rite of passage. And a little sidebar here. The larger the population, the more competitive the workforce, the more credentials you need. So in a nutshell, back in the day, you could be a mailman or a male person, male woman, with it, and be a high school dropout or a high school graduate. And now you need a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, depending on the need. So whenever there is an organization or a company that has a lot of applicants, they're always going to choose the applicants who are the most credentialized. That's just where we are. The more people, the more the credentials are required. And again, credentials come in the form of a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, to a lesser extent, a 2-year degree, technical degrees. It depends on what field you want to go into. If there is high demand, high competition, the better the credentials need to be. All right, Moving away from functionalism and conflict theory, what are some issues in American education? Unequal access to education, English as a second language, dropouts, violence, homeschooling, standardized testing, more testing, which is one reason I retired, gifted and exceptional student education. So, what do you think? Which sociological perspective, functionalism or conflict theory, do you think best explains all the issues in American education? What do you think? And that is all. I would love to know your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree? Do you think that there's some wiggle room? There's always wiggle room. Text me, message me. Let's set up a video conference or a phone call, whatever floats your boat. Have a wonderful day. Yo.